Today's episode is supported by AIDS-Free Pittsburgh. There are more than 5,000 people living with HIV in southwestern Pennsylvania, and the Ryan White HIV/AIDS program provides support services to help them get the care they need. That includes assistance with things like healthcare, medications, housing, transportation, food, and treatment for substance use disorders. Visit aidsfreepittsburgh.org to learn more.
Today on CityCast Pittsburgh, we've got big news for our riverfronts. We are one step closer to a Ferris Wheel on the north side. And there are some fresh hopes and dreams for Station Square. Plus, Pennsylvania is drinking less and ski season is here. I'm with the CityCast team talking about some of the biggest stories of the week. It's Friday, December 5th. I'm Megan Harris, and here's what Pittsburgh's talking about. I'm with executive producer Mallory Falk and producer Sophia Lo. Welcome.
Hello.
I like that. That was in unison. It was really pretty. We are so excited for next week. We're going to be kicking off our winter membership campaign, which means more CityCast Pittsburgh neighbors.
Yes, that is super exciting.
Coming on Monday.
Yes, we are declaring 2026 the year of the local. So we need more good neighbors to make that happen. And becoming a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor can really help you tap into, this idea of year of the local and help you feel more connected to the city. I think one big way is through our neighbors only events, because you get to meet so many people who are passionate about the same issues you are.
Yeah, at our last member event, I remember kind of like being in a circle of people who were all doing this like deep historical dive on the restaurant that used to be at the top of the U.S. Steel Tower. It was so much fun, and I feel like the kind of conversation that could only unfold at like a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor event, or like the exact type of conversation to unfold there.
Because I feel like people who listen to the show and also come to neighbors events are like a special kind of nerd. Like we have receipts. We remember we were there. And even if we weren't, if we're like boomerangs or, came here 5-10 years ago, like it's kind of easy to get sucked into Pittsburgh nostalgia. And I love that about our hangouts.
And if all of that sounds fun to you, you want to be there, you should join our membership program at membership.citycast.fm. We have so many other cool perks that you can read about too. But like I said, I think events is the big one. We really try to plan cool stuff for you. And last time we got this tour of icy distilling.
Yeah, we learned, for example, how much an entire barrel of whiskey costs that they make there. I don't remember the exact figure, but I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of like $10,000. Like,
those are big barrels, though,
It depended on what it was. I know 7,000 was a number that was thrown around. Anyway, it was a lot of money. And one of our attendees, I think it was the spouse of a neighbor, looks over at their partner and Jess is like, so what do you think? Like, will that work for my next birthday? Like, because they were planning a milestone birthday event, which actually did get us thinking we should do a show about milestone birthdays here in Pittsburgh and like what to do and how to throw like a good one. If you have thoughts, I want to hear them. Call the birthday hotline at 412-212-8893.
Yes, and you'll hear a little bit more about our neighbor program on the show and our newsletter next week. But if you want to skip extra membership emails, consider joining us right now, today. Remember, membership.citycast.fm. And, with every campaign we do, we have a giveaway. I'm so excited about it this time around. It's a beanie. It's super cute. It's black, so it matches everything. And it says CityCast Pittsburgh on it. It's got this cute little microphone. So sign up if you want that too.
Yes, if you want to keep your ears warm and look very stylish and broadcast your love for this city and this show, definitely become a member at membership.citycast.fm.
So we have talked a lot this week about a lot of different things. So on Monday, we had our guide to December. By the way, if you listen to that, I did go to Enchanted Lights, that light show in Freedom. Worth every penny. That was so much fun.
Ooh, good to know.
There's a bar, pro tip. Get the hot chocolate, and then there's a little bar there, and they will spike it for you. You got to do it.
Ooh, that sounds really yummy. On Tuesday, we talked, bigger picture about Pittsburgh and how we're thinking about our 2050 comprehensive city plan and why council is actually not super excited about the price tag of it at the very least.
Yeah, we got some really great, thoughtful responses. I have been a little delayed in responding to everyone, but I'm still working through it. So thank you if you sent us something.
Yes, we always like to hear feedback on our episodes and questions, follow-up questions you might have so we can keep covering these topics. Then on Wednesday, right on the heels of our first big-ish snow of the season, big enough to cancel school at least, we did an episode looking at the worst snowstorms and cold snaps in Pittsburgh history and got a little history lesson about how we even started measuring this stuff in the first place and kind of the pioneering role we had in snow measurements.
I mean, I really love always an opportunity to be like, yeah, this is not great, but it could be worse. It could be worse. Look at our history.
That's true. That's true. This one wasn't bad at all. And then on Thursday, we talked some new restaurant openings, lots of coffee shops and pizza places. Go back and listen if you want to know why I don't think deep dish pizza counts as pizza.
So here's what else you need to know this week. And really since the holiday, because we haven't been able to get together like this since then. So we'll start with some very hopeful, I hope, development news. First on the Ohio River, the Esplanade, that big, huge development on the North Shore, it broke ground.
Yes, it is in Chateau, if you want to get real specific. It's a huge project. It's going to cost about $740 million.
That number keeps changing.
Yeah, because it's been in the works for like a decade. The developer is Pyatt Companies.
Yeah, in this space, it's a lot of space. It's 15 acres. It was like mostly previously empty space and brownfields historically used for industry. So now there's going to be big development there, including, I feel like the top line item for this project has always been a giant Ferris wheel.
I mean, who can look at anything else when you're promising us a permanent Ferris wheel?
Building is happening in a bunch of phases, but we'll lump them into two main ones because that's how most people are talking about this. So first phase, there's going to be retail and restaurants, condos and apartments, and parking. So 20% of the apartments are going to be affordable, which is amazing. I'm glad they are baking affordability into this. There's also going to be this big hub called the Current. So they're going to have an indoor and outdoor pool. Pyatt Company's website says largest rooftop pool in Pittsburgh.
They started with this too. It was going to be a wave pool years ago. Like we always have to have the largest of something.
But also I feel like there's not a ton of competition there. I don't think Pittsburgh is like a city known for its rooftop pools.
Also a good point. And a river pun. We love a river pun.
There's going to be a brewery there, too. We do have a bunch of those. They're not making huge claims about their brewery yet. More dining and retail there, and then maybe an event space. And, the Ferris wheel is going to be the reason I go to this, at least. As for the second big construction phase, the plan right now is looking like a hotel, maybe with an aquarium on the ground floor.
Another water element. Love it.
Some office space and more apartments.
And it sounds like lawmakers are all really happy about this. I mean, generally, when there's a groundbreaking on a big development, you're going to get the big names out there. So a bunch of them showed up to the groundbreaking. Mayor Ed Gainey was there and talked about how the development's going to showcase the riverfront. If you want to know a little bit more about kind of the long-term vision for our riverfront and all the work that's happened so far to make it more of a destination, we did an episode recently all about that we will have in our show notes, including if and when we might get public restrooms along the riverfront. My
Fingers
number
crossed.
one priority.
I want fun things. I also want to be able to pee.
Yes, because the fun gets cut short when you need to leave if you don't want to use a porta potty under a bridge. Anyway, I digress. Our mayor-elect Corey O'Connor was also there talking about how this is great for the NFL draft because, of course,
we got to mention the draft.
Yes,
of course.
No public ceremony in this city without a mention. Though this might be the first thing we're talking about on the show, that big gasp will not be done in time for the draft.
But isn't that just so he can point to it? Like literally the thing will just about be in view. Like there's obviously buildings in between, like the casino and the science center, but he can effectively point to this thing and be like, look, we're building.
Yes.
Don't you want to come here?
Yes, I think you can still brag about it even when it's under construction.
Yeah, the Trib reported that he's hoping people, presumably developers, see this kind of project here and feel like it's a good place to build. O'Connor's feeling confident about the Esplanade sparking more economic activity. And the Post-Gazette mentioned that, once he's in office, he also plans to fast-track permits for that. So, I don't know. Certainly not by NFL draft, but maybe faster than a typical construction project here.
I mean, what's a few more months on top of 10 years,
I also saw that our governor, Josh Shapiro, was there. And he had these, kind of big claims about the economic impact. Like by the time it's finished, the project will have a $600 million impact on the regional economy.
Which is hilarious to me. I feel like $600 million is becoming like his number for Pittsburgh. Like that, because that's the same number that they use for downtown, talking about that whole revitalization project.
Shapiro's lucky number, I guess. I don't know.
600 million.
Well, getting into a little bit more of the numbers, the project is supposed to create 4,500 permanent jobs. So that is a lot. And then construction-wise, Payette is predicting 9,300 jobs. So
I'm always skeptical of any numbers until they actually come to pass, financially or job creation-wise.
Someone's got to operate the Ferris wheel. There's a lot of stuff there.
They always highball those the jobs numbers, but that's fine. I stand an aspirational construction job number.
But, there have been mixed feelings about this whole development project. Some residents in Manchester weren't happy about it coming in because they're worried it'll increase the rent in surrounding areas. We actually did a whole podcast episode about this, kind of can you build a big new development, add shiny things like a Ferris wheel and a hotel with an aquarium, and not price people out of the surrounding neighborhoods? Can this be done in a way that doesn't displace people? We are going to have that in our show notes if you want to take a listen.
And we also did another one, too, with a resident there of Manchester who just opened, recently, in the last couple of years, a small business as well, Lisa Freeman of the Freeman Family Farm. She talked a little bit about this, too. That's another podcast for you to check out.
Right. But Payette, has made an effort to meet with the community. It sounds like there were a bunch of meetings with locals. And, the executive director of the Manchester Citizens Corporation, LaShawn Burton Falk, she said that this development was shaped with the neighborhood. So hoping for good things ahead, at least some people are feeling good about what the Esplanade could bring.
Although slight grain of salt with that, because there are multiple community groups in the Manchester neighborhood, and historically they have not always seen eye to eye. So just because one of them is happy does not mean that the other one is.
Oh, yeah,
Again,
of course.
Take a listen to our episode about all of this.
Exactly.
And WESA reported that a long-term goal is to, connect Manchester and Chateau. There's, big highways around that area. So, things like pedestrian paths and bike paths could be coming down the road.
Anything would be an improvement over what's currently there. Though I will point out, I'm almost certain that would require getting the railroads on board with all of that. So I think that's going to be a much more complicated conversation than what Payette could influence on its own. So let's cross the Ohio and head down to the Mon River. A Boston-based developer has bought Station Square for an undisclosed amount of money. I have no idea what a development like that might cost.
Nor do I.
Me neither. I'm going to guess 60 million. I'll take 10 off the 600.
It could also be $1 just to unload it. Who knows?
Well, the new owner is WS Development. They own more than 100 other properties, including some on other riverfronts, so the Seaport in Boston. So I hope that, they have good ideas for how to revitalize Station Square and make the riverfronts work for us.
I was reading up that it says, at least according to the Business Times, this group has a proven track record of kind of redeveloping waterfronts, though I never know if that means adding really cool, fun, unique things or adding a P.F. Chang's. So
which is kind of what's there now. It's
exactly.
a Texas State Brazil. Gosh, there used to be a Joe's Crab Shack, a Hard Rock Cafe. I wouldn't say it was a hub for local restaurants.
Oh, yes. I don't mean that they're going to come in and change this beautiful historic character there.
Which there is that too. The Grand Concourse is there, which is gorgeous and very historic.
And historic to my timeline, the Buca di Beppo, which was where we would go before school dances because you could share a giant plate of spaghetti. But RIP, that's another business there that closed in recent years. I mean, that's the thing, is that like a number of spots there have closed in recent years. And my sense is that Station Square just didn't weather the pandemic very well and like had a hard time holding on to tenants there. And you just saw, a lot of places having to pack up and leave.
Well, they also this is, I guess, the next wave in, quote unquote, revitalization, because it was under construction for a while. The last time someone bought it, owned it, that was 2018, that they were going to try to revive it and brought in some, I think, a national chain and the climbing gym, which
fried chicken chain.
Yeah, is still over there and doing great. They had us out this year for a little team building exercise. It was a blast.
I fell. Turns out bouldering's not for me, but everyone at First Ascent was very lovely. So I still recommend it if, you have better balance and grip strength.
First Ascent is the kind of spot that I'm hoping maybe this new developer will bring in more places like it, where you can actually go do a really fun activity instead of just go listen, one of my favorite restaurants in the city is the Cheesecake Factory. I'm not above a chain, but I kind of lived through the waterfront popping up, Southside Works, and to me, they all just kind of have a samey feel. And so I would love to see Station Square go in a slightly different direction.
But we don't know what that direction is because obviously very early stages, just got bought. But, this new developer says Station Square is poised to enter a new era, quote unquote. And they want to be elevating the retail, dining, and entertainment experiences. So, Mallory, that sounds like they want things for people to do, but they're also going to be thinking about how they're going to maybe turn it into office space and that kind of stuff.
I mean, you do need a mix. And there are still some pretty big anchor tenants, Highmark Stadium is over there. It's the launch point for the Gateway Clipper, the Sheraton Hotel, which, let me tell you, best place in the city to crash a wedding. If that's something you're into, I swear there's always someone in there clearly trying to crash a wedding. I love it. But I mean, that space is it's changed character, changed hands a lot over the years. I feel like it's never the same thing, 10 years on 10 years on 10 years.
Yeah, for any old-time Pittsburghers like me, I feel like as I'm approaching 40, maybe I can say I'm an old-time Pittsburgher, but the thing I always associate Station Square with was this phenomenal haunted house they used to have there. And so I know Scare House is looking for a new location, so consider this my official petition for them to set up shop at Station Square and make that the focal point of this riverfront spot.
Trivia time!
Yes, trivia. Mallory, what do you have for us this week?
Okay, so after the break, we're going to be talking about alcohol. So I'm bringing an alcohol-related trivia question today. Pittsburgh is home to the highest grossing fine wine and good spirits store in the entire state. I don't know whether we should be taking pride in this or not, but my question for you is, which location has this distinction?
First, I think we should be proud we're number one. Second, I'm pretty sure it's the East Liberty one.
I happen to know the answer to this, so I will stay mum.
Okay, well, we will have the answer after the break.
Today's episode is supported thanks to the Frick Museums and Gardens and their world premiere of the Scandinavian Home, Landscape and Lore. I know it is so hard to leave the house when it's dark and cold, but at the Frick, you're gonna find magic and comfort. You can immerse yourself in a mythical Scandinavia and see princesses, Vikings, trolls, gnomes, and more fairy tale creatures come to life. You'll get to look at furniture, ceramics, glass, textiles, sculpture, and more fine decorative and folk art. It's from Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and Finland. And this is the perfect place to take friends and family who are visiting Pittsburgh, and you can pair this exhibition visit with a holiday tour of the Clayton House. Then grab some hot chocolate from the cafe, and you'll leave with all the warm and fuzzy feelings. The Scandinavian Home, Landscape and Lore is on view through January 11th, 2026. Coziness awaits you. Get your tickets at thefrickpittsburgh.org. Today's episode is sponsored by Honey Girls Wrap House. This is a sister-owned business, and they are looking to spread holiday cheer, one beautifully wrapped gift at a time. I cannot wait to tap into their services because I am so bad at wrapping gifts. I have a stash of pretty bags and tissue paper in my closet. But even if you're a gift wrapping pro, let Honey Girls Wrap House take over this year. It's one fewer thing to stress about during the holiday season, and instead, you can spend more time with your family and friends. Plus, their system is super simple. Just drop off your gifts at their workshop, then Honey Girl's Wrap House works their magic, and they can even deliver the gift back to you. You choose your wrapping paper, standard, luxury, or brown, then decide if you want to add bows and ribbons, or you can have Honey Girl's Wrap House create the design from scratch. Visit their Instagram page for more details on paper, pricing, and contact info. Find them at honeygirls_wrap house. That's HAUS.
Sophia, you are right. Megan, sounds like you already knew. The location of fine wine and good spirits that makes the most sales in the state, or is the highest grossing in the state, is the East Liberty Fine Wine and Good Spirits. I definitely contribute to that tally. But this was at least the case in 2023, 2024. We are still waiting for the next report to come out. So we will see if they held their throne last year too.
Yeah, these usually come out on a delay. In case you're curious, the other ones in the Pittsburgh region that pull a lot of money in are Cranberry, Robinson, the Waterworks one, and then one on Liberty Avenue. They're all raking in the cash.
So the reason that I picked this alcohol-related trivia is because sales, specifically sales of wine and spirits, dropped in Pennsylvania last year, and that is only the second time that's happened in 3 decades. The other time was during the start of the pandemic, which of course was when state-owned wine and liquor stores had to close, so unsurprising that was the other time.
And importantly, we didn't have online sales then. Our entire online e-commerce booze system got set up during the pandemic in a really big hurry.
Okay, that makes sense. I wasn't here in 2020, so I just had kind of assumed that you could poke around online before then.
Nope.
I didn't know that either. But yeah, this thing about the sales dropping, that is according to an early look at the annual financial report from the Pennsylvania Liquor Control Board, the PLCB. And they regulate alcohol sales here. They operate all of our fine wine and good spirits. And they, put out this report every year that lets us know the state of alcohol sales in Pennsylvania.
Which is important to note here in Pennsylvania, in case you aren't aware, we have a centralized alcohol system, not unlike Utah, for example, where the state, it's Quaker laws, basically, has control of anything we drink. I've always heard anecdotally, I think I originally heard this from Bob Casey's office back when he was our senator, that Pennsylvania is the single largest purchaser of alcohol in the entire world.
It is funny how foreign this system is to other people. I recently did a little reunion with some friends in Philly. None of them were from Pennsylvania. Philly was just the most central place for us to all go to. And when we were planning picking up alcohol for the weekend, someone was like, "Oh, I think I saw this store. We might need to look it up. It's called Spirits and something." And I was like, that's literally every place you
That's
can get
all of the
alcohol in
stores.
the entire state. But so anyway, sales were only down about 0.6%. So it's not like this was some huge hit, but still it is notable, especially because it's an aberration from usual. I saw reporting that a spokesperson for the PLCB thinks there are a few different reasons for this. One is changing customer habits. So he specifically mentioned people shifting to ready-to-drink cocktails.
You mean drinking those instead of wine and spirits?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it was something that he attributed to this change, so I guess that's not being counted. And reminder that last year, Pennsylvania started allowing grocery stores and gas stations to sell canned cocktails. This will be seared into my brain forever because of when Josh Shapiro went to celebrate. He went to a convenience store in Duncannon to buy Surfside tea and vodka. He got turned away because he forgot his ID. It was supposed to be this epic moment that ended in great shame.
No, I love it. That's consistency. I want that.
So yeah, these ready to drink cocktails might be a piece of it. This guy also pointed to just economic uncertainty and uncertainty over tariffs. We are in just a weird space right now.
That makes sense.
And then I didn't see him citing this specifically, but it does seem in general like people are drinking less. A Gallup poll that came out in August found that the percent of adults in the U.S. who say they consume alcohol has hit an all-time low of 54%. And that poll at least attributed this partly to the fact that more people are starting to see moderate drinking is bad for your health and trying to shift their habits.
This is kind of weird to me. The reason I've mostly been seeing that people are drinking less is because there are more options. Some like non-alcoholic. So I guess people who are choosing non-alcoholic might just want to drink less alcohol. That might play into the healthier stuff. But I've also seen like less drinking being attributed to the ease of getting other substances, whether it's THC or just more legal weed across the country or, you know, other drugs too.
Yeah, and functional beverages, stuff like that. I mean, when we talked about tariffs earlier this year, like for that episode, I had called a couple of wine bars in Pittsburgh, for example, like to check in, like, is this a thing you're worried about? And there was one person I talked to that said she thought the rise in non-alcoholic sales was the much bigger deal. Not that she was happy about paying more money because of tariffs, but she thought that like just that huge boom in that industry was actually doing way more damage to her local business than anything else. Like, it's just younger people especially are not drinking the way millennials and Gen X and boomers always have.
I don't think these things are mutually exclusive, though. Like if you're deciding that you don't want to consume as much alcohol or any alcohol at all, and then you have another option to turn to, it makes that choice a lot easier and more accessible.
Yeah, totally. We'll put those episodes in our show notes. We also did one with friend of the pod, Mel, over at Open Road. Just a great pioneer in the space of non-alcoholic sales and like what that kind of store can look like here in Pennsylvania and anywhere.
Yeah. And just to kind of understand the context here, that Gallup poll that found drinking is at an all-time low. They've been doing this survey for almost 90 years. Like sometimes these surveys come out and say something's at an all-time low and they've been tracking it for 3 years. And so it's not very meaningful, but they've got 90 years of this behind them. Though, you know, the caveat with things like this is always this is self-reported. So maybe some people are just deciding to say they don't drink.
Yeah, people always say they want to be healthier.
And as for people who do consume alcohol, there's new data that actually came out this week in Reuters that people are drinking less, but not by much. So this market research firm found that the number of drinks people have per week is down. It's at its lowest level since 1995, but it's a pretty small decline, like only down by about 1 drink per week. So I think that's also like a thing to always be conscious of when you see these headlines making big statements about things declining or dropping. Sometimes the data behind it adds a little more nuance.
You know, I saw reporting in the Trib that the PLCB is also trying to get lawmakers to make changes to Pennsylvania's liquor code. It sounds like in theory to help bar owners.
Yeah, I was reading this too. I like legit did not know that the state regulates happy hours. I guess they really just have a hand in everything alcohol related here.
Quaker laws.
Yeah. So I guess last year the state passed a law that lets bars have more happy hours. Before you could only host happy hours for 14 hours a week. Now you can do it for 24 hours and also allows them to advertise discounted food and drink combos. Again, wild to me that we're regulating like if you can advertise a special deal at your bar, but
yeah, so if you've ever been mad at a Pittsburgh restaurant for like not having a happy hour special that you liked, it might have been the state of Pennsylvania getting in the way of that. It might not have been the bar. By the by, I love PLCB annual reports. So like what just popped is an unaudited version of the final thing we usually get in the spring, like late February, early April. And that one always has an analysis of the most popular types of booze in Pennsylvania and also compares how much counties purchase by volume. So I thought I would give you all a little quiz. Are you ready?
sure. Yes.
Sophia's like, fine. Okay, true or false, Pittsburgh drinks more than Philly?
I feel like that has to be false.
I'm going to guess that's true. Like if the highest grossing fine wine and good spirits is in Pittsburgh, then maybe we are outdoing our much larger neighbor.
I like that you showed your work. Mallory, Sophia's just like, no, it's not true. Mallory, you are correct. Pittsburgh drinks significantly more than Philly.
Really?
We punch above our weight. Oh, yeah.
This does feel shameful.
True or false, sweet wine is more popular than dry wine?
Yeah, we're not a classy people. We like our sweet wine.
I'll go with true for this too.
False.
What?
Dry wine is more popular than sweet wine.
Is there more dry wine than sweet wine? I'm really showing that I know nothing about wine.
Well, I don't know that I'd say more or less. I mean, it depends on what the state of Pennsylvania is willing to stock. But like by volume, more dry wines are more popular than the sweeter wines. Used to, one of our most popular wines was like Barefoot Moscato. And I'm thrilled to see that has dropped in the rankings over time. True or false? White wine is more popular than red wine?
False.
True?
That one's true.
Huh.
Do you want to take a guess as to what is the most popular type of wine in Pennsylvania?
Like brand, I pick by the
No,
label.
not brands, not brands. Like a style, a varietal. If you get even anywhere in the top 10, I'll give you credit.
Remember one time I said I drink apple pie wine? I don't know
I do
my
remember
wine.
that, yes. I wasn't going to out you on it, but yeah.
I don't know, Chardonnay? Choosing something
Chardonnay
basic?
is in the top 10. The number 1 is La Marca Prosecco. All I can think is Pittsburghers really like their mimosas.
You know, we do have a lot of New Year celebrations. It's probably the time to shine right now.
Pinot Grigio and Chardonnay also really high on the list. Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand, and then there's one Cabernet Sauvignon at the end. One pure red wine makes the list. There's also an apothic blend.
I don't really know about like the stereotypes of who drinks what wine to like assess what this says about Pennsylvanians.
I mean, I just think the La Marca is funny. Like if you've ever been in a PLCB, like there's always several bottles in the cold cooler, but I guess because they know their audience. Last one, same for spirits. I know y'all actually already know the number 1 spirit in Pennsylvania because I laugh about it so much.
Fireball!
If you can give me anything else in the top 10, Fireball is our number 1 spirit in the entire state of Pennsylvania and has been for a long time.
Jim Beam, I don't know.
I'm like trying to think of tequila brands or something. Again, I pull usually cheapest off the shelf.
Tequila is not in the top 10.
Oh, that's sad. I like tequila.
So 4 of the listings in the top 10, just because they're different size bottles, are Tito's vodka, like by far.
Huh.
And then there's New Amsterdam vodka. There's a Pink Whitney, Pink Lemonade vodka that's in there.
Oh, no.
There's
I know enough to say that doesn't
schnapps.
say good things about us.
And then 99 Peaches. 99 Long Island iced tea and 99 Peaches. Like, ugh.
I would drink all those things probably.
Well, if you do like alcohol, whether it is pink lemonade flavored or not, there might be some good news for you because the Cranberry Costco is applying to become the first Costco in Pennsylvania with a liquor license. So the first one to sell beer and wine. Though I guess, I don't know if Kirkland brand is adding like pink lemonade or peach into their alcohol.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what they might end up stocking there. I have walked by this sign many a time. Cranberry is the Costco that I haul myself to, and there's a big, huge orange sign on the door with PLCB stamped across it.
I didn't realize this, but apparently Costco is one of the largest alcohol sellers in the world, if not the largest. But so far, it is not selling alcohol in Pennsylvania, once again, because our laws are so weird and restrictive. And liquor licenses are hard to come by here, and they're expensive. Costco's seeking a restaurant liquor license, which is the kind that grocery and convenience stores in Pennsylvania use. And it comes with all of these specific rules and restrictions, like you need to sell food and offer seating for at least 30 people. That's separated from the rest of the store.
You know what? I bet that's why Cranberry Costco recently did like I'm using air quotes here, remodel. But all they did was like close off the food court part of it. And when it I assumed there was some big thing happening. And when
they switched to Coke instead of Pepsi.
When it reopened, almost nothing was different. Like I literally looked at my partner and I was like, I think they added like 2 or 3 tables. Like, is anything different from like, I was like, maybe they got new appliances or something because nothing seemed to change except maybe there's a little more space.
That is really interesting because I did wonder, like, obviously Costco does have food and seating, like the $1 hot dogs are maybe the most famous food item in the United States. And I was wondering, is there typically enough seating there to like fulfill these requirements? But
now I'm going to count the number of tables. I will report back.
But like, I didn't realize like learning about this rule also made it click for me, you know, like, and at least like my neighborhood Giant Eagle, there is this sort of like sad little cafe area that always seems empty. I've always wondered why it's there, but I think that is to comply with these rules to be able to sell alcohol.
I hadn't thought about that either.
I think that's why they have it at Whole Foods too. Yeah.
Yeah. And some of them are nicer than others, like, but they are always empty. Like no one's in there.
Yeah, it's just for show, I guess. It is worth noting, I think, that, you know, this is happening, Cranberry seeking this liquor license as Wegmans and Meijer are coming to Cranberry. The Business Times reports that Wegmans already has a liquor license established for its new store, and Meijer is expected to pursue one too. So I think, you know, I'm excited that these grocery chains coming in are causing our pre-existing chains to try to up their game. Like, I'm looking at you, Giant Eagle.
Yeah, I wonder if that's going to like make a difference. I mean, it sounds like Costco's got a little bit of a leg up there just because like I drove by the site of what will be the Wegmans. And I mean, it still looks like the site of the moon landing right now, like a blank spot on a hill. So like they've got a long way to go before their liquor license matters at all.
Fair. I mean, all of this, though, does have me wondering, like, why Cranberry is the one getting all of these nice things.
Wegmans is huge. You can't fit that in the city of Pittsburgh.
There's that, and also low taxes, baby. Taxes in Butler County are so much lower than Allegheny County. Time for one of our favorite parts of the week, our CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor shoutouts.
Today's shout out is coming from Sarah Yu, and she is shouting out Amara. Amara is an inclusive fitness studio and boutique in Brookline. So I checked out their website. They have a bunch of different classes like yoga, strength, meditation, and bar. So it really sounds like a little bit of everything. And Sarah says that the boutique items are super cute. Obviously had a poke around there too. Not workout clothes, which is what I guess. They have like jewelry, jeans, some really fancy claw clips, and they also offer massage, Reiki, and tarot services. So definitely seems like a cool spot. Thank you so much for sharing, Sarah.
It's never occurred to me to go do yoga and then get a tarot reading afterwards. Like, that sounds fun.
And then maybe get some new earrings.
I did have to talk myself out of a very fancy and very expensive claw clip that was shaped like an ear of corn the other day. But someone else should buy it.
Thank you, Sarah, for sharing your shout out. If you want to be like Sarah and share your favorite local business or nonprofit here on the podcast or in our newsletter, you can do that by becoming a CityCast Pittsburgh neighbor. Neighbors can send us as many shout outs as they want, as often as they want, and we will share them right here. So join today. That's membership.citycast.fm.
Join today so you can get the beanie that is part of our year-end campaign.
Yes, and skip all those membership emails that are coming your way next week.
And welcome to our newest neighbors, Don K and Emily P. We're so excited to have you, and I will be looking out for your shout out.
Yes, no pressure, but like also all the pressure. Moving on to wins and things to know. Are we doing losses this week? I don't really think so. Let's skip the losses.
It's the holiday season. It's all wins. Yay!
Though I'll say our first thing, it's definitely a thing to know. It could be a win or a loss depending on your perspective.
True.
So this is from over Thanksgiving. Pittsburgh Public Schools voted not to move forward with the plan to close and consolidate a bunch of schools. We are going to be talking a lot more about this on the show next week because obviously this is a very big story with very big implications. So we're not going to deep dive on it now, but stay tuned. Definitely tune in next week.
Okay, so on to our first win. There is a new apartment building in Oakland. It's got 48 affordable units, but the cool thing about it is that it's specifically for LGBTQ plus seniors. So 62 and up. It is the first housing like this in Western Pennsylvania. It's got a fun name, Mosaic Apartments. There was actually a community contest to choose the name, and I hope the people who voted are going to be moving in. So it's near the corner of Forbes and Craft. You'll be able to spot this really easily because there's some really colorful, vibrant paneling and artwork on the exterior. It looks super fun.
Another win in our state, it is now illegal here to discriminate against somebody based on their hair. So Governor Josh Shapiro signed the Crown Act into law. That stands for Creating a Respectful and Open World for Natural Hair. And so Pennsylvania, we are now the 28th state to ban this type of discrimination. And a ton of the credit has to go to State Rep LaTasha Mays,
from Allegheny County. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. She first proposed this in 2019. She's talked a lot about how without this kind of legal protection in place, Black Pennsylvanians could lose their jobs, get punished at school, get barred from public spaces for having certain hairstyles like dreads or locks. But this law also strengthens protections for religious head coverings, too. There's like different components to it. And worth noting, our own city and county councils actually passed local versions of this legislation in 2020. So it's been in effect here in our area, but now it's the law of the land statewide.
And there's a lot of protections for different kinds of protected classes. If you ever feel like you are facing discrimination here in the city, there's also an office that will help you with that.
Yeah, it's called the Pittsburgh Commission on Human Relations. We talked to them. We will link that podcast in the show notes as well.
A thing to know, self-driving cars are going to be back in Pittsburgh. Like we've had Aurora, obviously, for years, and there were several other companies way back in the day. But they're going to be, I guess, I don't even know if you call this testing at this point. They're going to be doing ride-hailing here in the city. Allegedly, they're on the streets in downtown this week. I have not yet seen any. Have y'all?
Nope.
I haven't either. And this is another one that I think could be considered a win or a loss, depending on your perspective.
True, I guess. Yeah, it's the autonomous vehicle company, Waymo. They're expanding to Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Baltimore, and Philly. I've got to imagine that's because, all those self-driving companies several years ago lobbied hard to be able to make it easier to test and to ride in driverless fashion here on Pennsylvania roads. So like that, when that passed, like that was for all of us. So I'm not surprised to see both Pittsburgh and Philly on this short list.
Yeah, I will be paying extra attention when I'm on the road now.
They're usually easy to spot. Most of them have the thing rotating on the top of the car.
Interesting.
Yeah, I will definitely be keeping an eye out too. Another thing to know, this local organization called Play It Forward is organizing its 15th annual toy drive, and they need donations. So they are asking for gently used toys for kids up to 12 years old so people can come shop for holiday gifts for their kids. You can still walk in if you're someone who might benefit from this. The shopping day is December 13th.
Yeah, I saw the story. WESA had a cute little write-up about it. I had never heard of this organization, but the quotes in it are so sweet, just so endearing. It was from a board member of theirs. They said requests have gone up in recent years, but donations have been going down. And they made some suggestions for things. There's also like a photo so you can kind of see the types of toys they're looking for. But they said really anything that is gently used that maybe your kids aren't using anymore, but still has like a lot of life left. Like, for example, puzzles that are already open. Because of course, you can still put together a puzzle, Barbies, Legos, magnet tiles, but really they are happy to take anything that is gently used.
And, we'll have a link in the show notes where you can find spots to drop off any donations. There are
a ton of them.
Yes, all over the city. But if you want to drop off in person, you can do that at the convention center downtown, December 8th to 10th.
Yeah, and north, south, east, west of the city too. There's tons of regional ones. I have a win. I think it's a win. Seven Springs is officially opening this weekend. I mean, the snow is fine and great, but it's more fun to have snow when you can go do something in the snow.
I saw people making snowmen and out and about this time around.
I know. And actually, confession, I made my very first snowman with my child this week. I just had never done that before. Yeah, because where I grew up, there was no snow. It never snowed. And when it did, it was a half inch. So it was great. I got to make a snowman. My child immediately destroyed it. We built it and then he fully face planted into it to destroy it. He was so happy.
Oh, that's fun. I was precious about mine. I didn't like anyone else touching my snowman.
Maybe he'll be like that later in life. Seven Springs officially opens tomorrow. The first lift is running at 8 a.m. And so to celebrate opening day, they're going to have a DJ and free cookies and hot cocoa while supplies last. I'm guessing that's a couple of hours at best. But the PG actually had a list of the improvements that Seven Springs and some other local ski resorts have been working on all year long. So that's kind of cool. There's good new stuff happening at Hidden Valley, Laurel Mountain, and Boyce Park. None of those are open yet, but they are expected to open in the next week or two.
Well, and I'm going to close out with something that is also on a winter theme. It's the most wonderful time of year if you like elaborately designed gingerbread houses, because Pittsburgh's annual gingerbread house competition is now open. They have actually been doing this for 23 years. So every year they put a bunch of gingerbread houses on display at the City County building. They will be there this year through December 31st, and you can go check them out and vote on your favorite. We will also put a link in our show notes where you can view them virtually if you can't make it downtown.
Oh, I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah, I was actually just flipping through this. There's a Nightmare Before Christmas themed gingerbread house that really caught my eye. But if you haven't gone to this before, it is truly delightful. Last year's winner was a replica of Paige's Dairy Mart that was submitted by elementary school students. It's just the most heartwarming thing.
And a lot of these are extremely elaborate. Like some are like a normal like gingerbread house that like you or I could make, but most of them, by far the majority, are really wildly artistic. Personally, I really like the replica of the city county building that they have in there. And at some point, someone preserved it. So this thing has been on display for multiple years now. I would love to know where and how they store this thing in the off season because it stays intact. It's perfect. I don't know how they do it.
I think a cat circles it to keep away the mice.
Yeah, whatever elf is in charge of this thing, you're doing a great job.
I love thinking about like our city funding an official position to be like the keeper of the gingerbread house.
You know, we used to have an official position of the person who ran the railroad where the Santas were in PPG Place. That was someone's job. I loved it. He sat in the back watching horror movies all season long.
That's incredible. I actually have like a rec to go along with this. If you want to check out gingerbread houses, but also pack something else fun in, you should come to our live all request holiday music show that is happening on Friday, December 19th.
Yes, you should do it. You can drop by our studio anytime between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. Again, that's Friday, December 19th. It's kind of like the office party that you don't actually have to clean up after. So best of both worlds.
And without all the awkward like social interaction. It's just plain fun.
Yes, just fun with us. There will be a Santa Claus there if you would like to see him. Santa Lance. You can also request your favorite holiday song live on the air. So we'll be streaming on Pittsburgh's jazz station, WZUM. You can hang out with us. You can have some homemade cookies. Sophia's promised to make some stuff. I don't know. Do you know what you're making yet?
No. Ask me the night before.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But we are in the 10th floor of the Benedum Trees building downtown. So that's 223 4th Avenue. Conveniently located just a few blocks from the gingerbread houses at the city county building. So you can come see us. You can go see those. You can get a coffee in Market Square, go ice skating at PPG Place, even shop small at the holiday market. You can really make a day of it down here.
Yes. And if you want to make your song request in advance, you can call or text us at 412-212-8893 with your name, your song request, and if you want to dedicate it to anyone.
That is all for today here on CityCast Pittsburgh. Our music is by Benji, All the Kimonos, Carl Christensen, Anders Fab, Donna, and The Verge, with additional music from epidemicsound.com. Mallory Falk is our executive producer. Sophia Lo, Noah Snyderman, and Selena Cia Reynolds produced the show. Francesca DeBecco wrote our newsletter, and I'm your host, Megan Harris. We will be back on Monday with more from around the city. Have a great weekend, y'all. So you want a historical mechanical bull, not a current one you could actually go check out right now?
Tequila Cowboy's on the south side, right?
It's on the north side.
Never mind, I'd go there then. I just don't want to be on Carson Street during like bar hopping hours. I want to get my dinner sushi and then ride the mechanical bull.
You want to be on the North Shore on bar hopping hours. Okay.